So I get this question quite a bit because one of the core things that we do with men is we help them become masters. We help them become masters of themselves. And some people call that self-mastery, whatever you want to call it for yourself. But one of the core aspects of becoming a master of self is being able to flip the switch on your emotions, to go from a disempowering emotion. I don't like to use the word negative emotion. What I mean by disempowering is an emotion that is not helping you achieve your goal. Because sometimes anger, very rarely, right, short-lived anger may actually empower you. And so for some people, anger is good. For some people, anger is bad. But if anger empowers you, short-lived anger empowers you, then we're going to consider that an empowering emotion. But long-term anger never empowers you. I'm just going to give you that tip right there. And I think you know that because anytime you're angry, you don't make great decisions. But how do you flip that switch from disempowering emotions, which could include anger, sadness, frustration, right? Confusion. Confusion is not necessarily considered an emotion, but there is an emotion that goes along with it. But how do you flip the switch on that to something that's more empowering? So to be excited, to be driven, to be motivated, to be happy, to be joyful, right? Those types of emotions that actually project you forward in terms of what we call being empowering emotions. And empowering emotions are those emotions that actually enable you to achieve your goals. So first things first, you need to know what your goals are. And ultimately, you need to be very clear about your goals. Because if your goal is to be, I'm just going to throw it out there, to be a jerk, if that's your goal, then anger is an empowering emotion. But if your goal is to be a kind, loving person, whether it's a husband or father, then anger is a disempowering emotion. So knowing exactly what your goal is enables you to first categorize the types of emotions that you have. And that's the first thing that you need to do. And this is how our brain works too, is when we put a word to something and are able to categorize it, we're able to deal with it a lot more effectively. And men tend to be a little bit better at this than women because we can compartmentalize a little bit easier. So if we can compartmentalize and figure out, okay, name this emotion. What is this emotion? Does it align with my goal, or does it empower me to get to my goal, or does it disempower me? So now you can put it on the side that you want. So if you take a piece of paper, right, you write your goal at the top there, or your goals, draw a line down the middle, and on one side you say disempower, on the other side say empower, and you can go through and identify which emotions are disempowering or empowering, because you'll know whether they help you get to your goals or not. Once you identify those disempowering emotions, that is the first step. Then you can go and talk about how do you flip the switch to an empowering emotion, something that's more fulfilling as well, that enables you to drive towards your goals. That is a secret to success when it comes to performance. That is a secret to success to having better relationships, because we all go through times when someone says something, or we are in a situation where someone just triggers us. And now we have to figure out how we're going to respond to this person. First of all, it's responding, not reacting. Reacting is an automatic response. But when you have a conscious response, that's responding. Because there's a lot of times where we just react to something, and that's not good, because most of those reactions are not mindful and they don't lead to the results that you're looking for. And the simplest way to do this, and I'm going to leave you with one tip here in terms of how to go from a disempowering emotion to an empowering emotion, is to use your body. It's very difficult to use your mind to go from disempowering to empowering until you become a master, because when you get to becoming a master, then you can use your mind to actually flip the switch. But a lot of times our mind is working against us, but our body is not. So we have to use our body. And that could be as simple as getting up and going for a walk. That could be as simple as going and exercising. That could be as simple as getting up and stretching, or doing deep breathing. Or you can do a cold water plunge, whatever it is that works for you. And the whole key here is to test and try things out that work for you, because something may work for you and it may not work for somebody else. But we do know through normal neuroscience and physiology, we can say that certain things do impact people's state to go from disempowering to empowering, like spending time in nature, like watching funny movies, like having a good laugh with your friend or family member or spouse or whoever it is. Those have a natural impact, like petting a dog, for example, that has a natural physiological reaction where you go from disempowering to empowering. You can't be in a bad mood, come home in a bad mood when your dog is running up to you and looking and jumping on you and giving you a whole bunch of love. It's virtually impossible. So what I want to summarize here is that until you become a master of your emotions, the easiest way to flip the switch is to use your body. So you can also do ancient practices like Qigong or Tai Chi. You can use yoga. Yoga is very effective as well. Exercise. I tend to use exercise. But use your body. You're using your physiology to change your emotions. That is the number one way to do it. So try to avoid using your mind and use your body, because that enables you. You'll be surprised how fast you can do it when you start using your body. Quit using your mind, use your body, and you'll be able to go from one emotion that's not working for you to an emotion that is in a very short time frame.